I think we're live. What's up, dudes? Who do we got here? We got Bill, we got Matt, we got Trolls, we got Deanna, Browns fan, Fretless said, JTM, JMT, and Matt and Joe, and hold on, Trolls, Jim, got Gary, music sound gear. What's up, speaker? What's up, Joe? Got Reverend Gary Scotland, Getty Motzi, all the regulars, double R guitar. Got GSU Panther, we got Super Lead 100, we got Christopher and Reek. I'm just saying, I just think if, you know, George Harrison were alive today, he would probably be playing an ESP LTD Phoenix. Probably. I mean, we can only speculate. I'm just playing the percentages on that. Neck on it looks huge. It's actually not. Trust me, we've had much bigger necks. I think it's maybe the big inlays, little optical illusion, and the headstock's actually kind of small. Makes the neck look bigger. But no, it's pretty good. It's actually pretty small. What's up, Peter? lose it. I'm saying, if Joe Walsh were alive today, he'd probably be playing an ESP LTD. I gotta be careful. That one can get you in trouble. That label is not nearly as open-minded. Oh man, it's good. I don't think they're Grovers. They say LTD on them. They're locking though. Yeah. Right there. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 dee 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 beep beep dee. All right, hold on. I just gotta double check my tuning real quick. Oh, that's good. Yeah, see that? I knew it. Sound a little Sharpay. That's good. That's a tiny bit flat. And with that one, those are the strings that bend. Let's face it, I bend all the strings, but those are the ones I bend the most. Ah, there we go. I think it's that note. That wonderful blues at the end. Eddie, he really was the king. He truly was the king of kings. Oh no, it's a big body. Big body, big tone, right? Something like that. Oh no, it goes on forever. I'm like threatening, like hitting the wall here, moving the guitar as far in. It's not a firebird. It's just a bird that bursts in a fire. The phoenix. It's a type of bird. It's a type of firebird. I'm getting used to this length. That's what it's like. I almost want to like bring it back a little bit. It's like it's messing with me head. He's having an episode. Nice weather we had yesterday. Yeah, we had just about 2 inches of rain. It was raining pretty hard. According to my rain gauge, we had about 2 inches. So, you know, we've been sort of drying out today, but not really. It was sunny out this morning, and then we had some rain blow through for a little bit. And I think it's finally calmed down. No, I don't think it's raining right now. But yeah, we had the rain. How's this looking? Oh, it's done. Is it done? Update game was. Yeah. We can take a look through. If we go to. Oh yeah, no, did it? Okay. All right, carry on. Got a new handheld. It showed up today. Let me go to handheld cam. This is a little flip style unit. It's a 3.4-inch screen, and because the because the of the screen's dimensions, you can see doesn't have a 4-head. It's got a 5-head at the top there. It's got quite the 4-head on it. That's to make it a little extra wide, because it's to match not the 4x3, but the 3x. They're not 4x3. I think it's 3x2, just slightly wider. It's a 3x2 aspect ratio, and that perfectly fits. And with its the number of pixels on it, it's a perfect Game Boy Advance ×2, like pixel for pixel. So you'll have at least one, type of game that will absolutely fit perfectly at a 2X. And then everything else are going to have little black bars at the top or on the sides. It's the nature of the beast, because they're all over the place. Even ones that you thought were 4x3, like Super NES, actually, a lot of the games you'll realize the geometry doesn't look right. It looks a little stretched out width-wise. And if you check, it's really 8x7 because they just didn't have the pixels, right? And they would just rely on the TV to stretch that shit out. Exactly, Bill. 3x2. Yeah, they're saying we're going to have a quieter week this week than last week. Because we had a few days of rain. I think it started, when did it start? Thursday? Yeah, on the old square TVs too, yeah. So they just relied on those old CRTs to stretch that stuff out. And of course, Game Boy Advance didn't have to do that because it was its own contained machine. So they truly were 3x2. No, it's like they're trying to come out with ones that for certain games, they look just absolutely perfect. Like they have a 1x1 screen, which obviously for like the original Game Boy, which I think was 1x1 or close to it. And I think Game Boy Color, the same thing. It's perfect. It just like fits that square just absolutely perfectly. You don't want to stretch it out. It does mess with the geometry. You're much better off to just have the bars or fill it in with a bezel. Polar air, yeah, dry and cold. Yeah, we don't have anything like that. We're cold, but it's kind of moist. And a wired out 220, yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes. Could you hear that? Yeah. I didn't notice the hum. They stick it's actually a P90 in a humbucker casing. I looked at it, I just figured it was a humbucker. But it's not. You can see because I was staring at it on the stand, I'm like, oh my God, that line of, is that like a P90 in that thing? But it is. That's why I was like, sometimes when things don't work, you go, yeah, no, it sounds great. But I wasn't hearing a huge difference when I was pulling the coil cut on that neck pickup. So probably because it's not wired to and it's already a single coil. ESP's copy of the Fat Cat P90 clone. I think they said they were Seymour Duncan pickups. Is the Fat Cat made by Seymour Duncan? I'm pretty sure that was the spec. Seymour Duncan Fat Cat. Does sound good. Once you get it in tune. All right, I think this is done updating. It is. Shut her down now. Shut down the system. They finally came out with a new update for Rocknicks. That's been taking friggin' forever. Dan, it says Fat Cat is Seymour Duncan. Yeah, I thought that. I haven't looked at it since, last weekend when I shot the video, but could have sworn it said Duncan Pickups, right? It was it a classic or a custom in the Duncan Custom? Duncan Classic? What the frick? Let me see here. Let me go to ZZ Sounds here. Da Phoenix. Right there. What are they saying? They are saying Duncan Custom. Right there. Seymour Duncan Fat Cat. And Seymour Duncan Custom. Right there. And it's a small neck. I get thin U. And I'm telling you, it's not a big neck. 42 millimeter neck width. That Ghost Horse we had was almost a 45, 44.6. So, yeah. I'd say pretty good. I do have the window open. We'll see. R36 prices still at high end. Well, they've certainly gone up. I don't think they're going back down anytime soon, because the logistics of getting them into the States now. So last time I checked, if you bring in anything through, there's no more de minimis exception. So everything down to a penny gets taxed. And if you come in through the I think it's any carrier but the Postal Service, U.S. Postal Service. Any other carrier, it's just a straight tariff. But if it goes through the Postal Service, I think if it's a certain amount, I think if it's like less than $250, there's a $100 fee, and maybe more than that, it's the fee plus the tariff. There's like a $100 fee now just to even go through the post office now. $100 freaking like handling fee. So It's hard to buy an item for $28 and then pay a $100 handling fee. Seems a little goddamn ridiculous. When did I get this? I got it in the last round when I got the Ghost Horse and the Bowden. And the guitar that's going to come out on Monday. I shot the footage today. Are they left-handed or right-handed? Oh, I guess they'd be right because they're going this way. It's supposed to be for the right side of the headstock. They're going clockwise. Yeah, that's a cat trap, but no, I haven't been able to catch a cat. They love that blanket. Nice and warm. Especially when I have the window open. See here. Doo-doo. Do-do-dee. Surprised Gibson doesn't try to say that it's Firebird infringement. Well, it depends whether they have a trademark for the body shape. They do have marks for the V, the Explorer, the SG, and the Les Paul. I'm assuming they would have one for this too. Maybe the RD. But shape marks in themselves are a bit suspect. It's a way to be able to blow past copyright law. It's really the shape should be it'd be a copyright thing and not so much a trademark. But the thing about trademarks is that they never expire as long as you keep renewing them. So everyone would love to get a trademark instead of a copyright. But there could be a reckoning coming on that at some point where shape marks, just shape marks in general, you know. What's that new, it's, the new Wolf tune. It's, I want to say it's, E-Mixolydian. Right, so it's, the 1, the flat 7, the 1 again, and the 3, that's Mixolydian, major 3. And then the 4, and the 5. So my Celtics look like garbage. They lost, but the Knicks have become the Celtics, and the Pacers have become the Knicks, pulling out, you know, being down by 15 points with 2.5 minutes to go and coming back to win it. We'll see what happens with. I tell you, the team that looks to be unstoppable is Oklahoma. I'm not even sure whoever wins, you know, the Eastern Conference is really going to have much of a chance against OKC. Is it a blues rock or heavy metal? Yes. It's for blues rock heavy metal. You know. It's specifically designed for blues rock heavy metal. It's those Duncans sounding good. Sounded real good. So any Star Trek fans in the house? My wife bought these tickets, I want to say before Christmas. Totally forgot about it. But I was reminded yesterday that we had a show to go to. And luckily, thank God, we bought a whole table, which wasn't cheap, but we had a whole table to ourselves. And the table is for 5, and if you saw the size of these tables, I'll see if I can get I might be able to show you a little pic of the table is, you know, about the size of a, you know, a large pizza box. Like, tiny. But we got a whole table, and we got a table for 5, but one of the people could not attend. So it was just the 4 of us, the family. And we went to go see, let me see if I can get this to go here, like that. We went to go see it's called Music of the Cosmos at Symphony Hall with the Boston Pops. So I think this is the only one where you might be able to see the table. That's the table. About the size of a large pizza box, and 5 chairs around it, 5 folding chairs. So luckily one of our people couldn't attend, and so we went to go so you know, had great seats. Boy, they sounded amazing, and they were serving we not for free, had to buy them, but they were these like caramel cups. I believe that's a little bit of gold leaf on it. Hoity, not to be too hoity with the toity. And this was the breakdown. We had George Takei was the narrator. And Suni Williams, the astronaut who was stranded in space, she actually lives in the greater Boston area. So she came out, and man, I tell you, sharp, witty, very, very funny, and, you had a very good outlook on, like, because they were like, were you just so worried that you were trapped in space? And she's like, well, we weren't trapped in space. We did have a vehicle to get home, but we just weren't confident it could get us home in one piece. She's like, how far do you drive with a car with a check engine light on? So it was like, oh, man. So I get it. But anyway, they opened up with 2001, a fanfare and all this stuff, and they did. And I tell you, these, and of course, if you know Gustav Holst, The Planets, Jupiter, there's like sort of the jovial song Mars is like the god of war. I had that album. I had the Gustav Holst, The Planets when I was in friggin' high school. Because, like any high schooler, I'm sure you all had Gustav Holst, The Planets with you in high school. Sure. That old high school trope. Anyway, these were all great. But this is where it gets interesting. After the intermission, they come back and they do all the Trek. They're doing, the original series. And I tell you, listening to The Next Generation, and I tell you, in the room, the Deep Space Nine one, oh my God. They're like really good. It's like such a wonderful piece. So massive. Sounded so friggin' good. And Into Darkness, it really was. That was a very dark piece, the Star Trek Into Darkness, the final one. Yeah. And of course, William Shatner would not allow me to become a captain before he became an admiral. Like, when he found out I was a captain, he had to become an admiral. God, Decay is the best. And there they are, starting again. Now you can see they're starting to fill in. You can't really take photos when they're performing and nobody had their camera out. And you don't want to be that douchebag with their camera out. So I did not do that. But then George came out to do the narration. I'm George Takei, Japanese American internment camps, and he is a national treasure. He really is, and he was just a wonderful. And there they are at the end. I finally had the courage. So this is when he comes out and they're not playing, and so I whipped out the phone real quick. Just to get this, I probably shot 30 shots in the matter of 10 seconds, and that was the best one. It wasn't even close. And then at the end, I had the courage to pull because, you're in Symphony Hall, and they will boot you out in a heartbeat, and I wanted to see the show. So this is a widescreen, so it looks a lot farther away than it actually is because I got the big wide lens on. But you can see Keith Lockhart and him. And then I got this great shot, which I was pretty happy with too. That was nice. It was nice. Nice night. Nice night out with the Trek and the family Trek. There was at least one or two people there in full Star Trek uniform. which is pretty amazing. So I was happy with the two shots I got. So I thought this shot and the other one of Decay, I was pretty happy with, because you get a little bit of action going on there. And a lot of times his face was obscured because, he had a very long script to read between these things. And so they gave him, the teleprompters, which, you realize how much he had to read. It was, I was glad to see it. So anyway, good time. Nice time, if you like the Trek. What's up, Dwight Bailey? was great. And you forget how powerful those tunes are, you know, until they're being played by a full orchestra, and you're like, damn, that sounds good. I sent it to a friend of mine who's a big Trek fan and a big classical music fan, and he was like, God, I wish I was there. I bet it was pretty good. I said, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty damn good. I was thoroughly enjoying that. It was pretty awesome, because I know all the tunes, you know, at least half of the tunes from the first one, you know, and then all of the tunes pretty much from this. I knew all those Trek tunes. Maybe there was one I wasn't familiar with, but I think it was like sort of an intermediary piece from one of the movies. I think it's when Spock dies. There's this big like scene, right? I think at the end of 2, and then they do the search for Spock. So when they do that, in the distance, as they're playing very softly, you can hear in the distance a bagpipe, and it was like, oh my God, how are they doing it? Is this some of this pre-recorded? Where's the bagpipe guy? And when they were done with the tune, Keith Lockhart pointed up to the balcony, and the guy came in from the hallway in full regalia with the bagpipe. And he goes, I just want to thank, like, master bagpipist, you know. So this guy, he was out in the hall. I was like, that's really smart. Oh, that's really good. That's pretty smart. You know. You know what? I hated Music Sound Guesses. I hated DS9 by the end of the series, but the theme song is the best one. The problem with DS9 was it just got way too political. It was all about relationships. The thing I liked about The Next Generation was that there was a lot of science fiction, right, going on. At the end of the day, it's a science fiction show, right? But when you're not really going anywhere and you're kind of stuck there, and it's all about interpersonal relationships between people stuck on the same outpost, yeah, you could have that. That could be in a bar room, right? It could be in an ER room, right? It's like all these other shows. It's the same thing. It's about interpersonal relationships in this sort of like background with like some quirky elements, but for the most part, it wasn't enough science fiction. And I think that's what kind of sank the show. At least with Voyager, they're out and about. We can debate the merits of that show, but at least they went back to science fiction. You know, I watched DS9 for a good 2 seasons, I think. And then I kind of lost maybe 3 seasons. I had a friend who watched the whole thing, and that was his favorite. So it just depends on what you like. You know, if you really get into the characters, then you're into the characters, you know. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one, literally quoted by Takei last night. Yeah, handmade in Ukraine. Seriously, killer amp. It's a VH4 kind of circuitry. any sump activity this spring. Well, it was going yesterday and the day before. Pretty much started Thursday. But it takes a while. There's the lag between when, you get the rain and it really gets underneath your house and really starts to, come up. But I tell you, it started Thursday afternoon, but Thursday night it was really raining pretty hard. Then I noticed it, but I've seen it go a lot worse. Here's the thing, and I noticed this yesterday, is I was, just making sure everything was all right, and there was nothing going to block it, everything outside was okay, right? You just do a little, go a little check, doesn't hurt. Right? What if you get out there and the extension pipe's off? You can fix, right? So it's like I just go around. And what I noticed is, and this was a huge difference between this and my prior pump, is that the water line is halfway up the sump basin. About halfway. My old pump, when it was at its max, and I couldn't adjust where it went off, unlike a stick pump, actually has a rubber, like a foam grip or a rubber grip around the rod that you can move down and it at a much, or you move really up. And now when it just goes up a little bit, it triggers it, right? If you have it down, it's got to go way up and then it triggers it. So you can adjust it. There was no adjusting on my old pump. And so the water used to be like this high. Let me see if I can get it to the side. Yeah, like this high from the top. And I'm like, well, it's already, so if we did get any extra rain, it didn't take that much for it to like not be able to catch up and go right up and over. This one, because it's like this far down from the top, much, much farther down from the basin, because it's just a shorter pump. Even though it's literally twice the horsepower, then it never really gets up high, never really gets up to the lip, and it's so far ahead of it that we've come close. We've come close, but we have not, since I put that pump in, we have not had the water come above the floor. It's looked like it was going to come up any minute. It was, and I'll get some extra rain over in that corner, which I don't even mind. It's like away from everything, and it's pitched down. And there was a little bit of water there. And I said, okay, well, here it comes. Now it's going to be coming in. That's it. But it never did. The rug never got wet. The other areas over here never got wet. There's a crack in the middle of the floor where it's sort of an early warning sign. Comes up through that crack where the old furnace used to be. Nothing. So I was like, okay. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. No. Do. Have I tried the new Acoustasonic Standard? I have not. I've always been interested in the Acoustasonic because I do like a little, sort of like a naturally acoustic guitar that's easy to handle. It plays like an electric. It's kind of why I like my Ovation, because it's got a really small neck on it. Right? Kind of has like an electric neck more than like an acoustic neck. But I haven't had a chance. I did play, one or two at NAMM. You can get the American ones used now for pretty short money. About half of what they went for new. I think they were, what, $19.99 when they first came out, something like that, about $2,000. You can see them all day, $10.99, maybe under $9.99, but you can find them all day. In fact, let me see if I can, Acoustasonic. Let me take a quick look here. We'll figure it out. Acoustasonic. I'm going used. I'm going to go high to low. Get some of those Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. All right, we're down to 12. We're down to, we're still in the 12s. We probably have to move over at least one page. Okay, we're down to 1169. So let's go here. All right, 1169. These are all American, right? American, damn it. All right, American, American. But then you'll start to get, eventually, you won't see American acoustic sonic. It'll just be the, right, see, there's the American. Got to look for that. It might say player, it might just say standard. So you got to look for the, and then you got to take a closer look because it'll say it on the plate. How low can you go? We're down to $9.99. Feel like a Strat. What shape were you looking for? Were you looking for a what is $9.99? $9.99. $9.89. $9.49. That might have been it. See, now we're down to player. Now you're down to player. Yeah. Okay, we've crossed over in the Americana. $8.99. There you go. I'll beat it. Beat it there, punk. Okay. And let's just take a quick look at that plate. Oh yeah. Corona, California. U.S. Right there. So, you know, I'd be more inclined to buy one of those at $8.99, you know, than I would the player. I'm sure the player's fine, but I'd rather go with the OG. Mainly because even if it's the same exact guitar, which it might be, it won't have quite the same pickups. Usually that's where the change goes. But I'd like the Telly. I think I was going Strat. I mean, Sunburst. I kind of think the black. They got a black one, a natural. Yeah, right there. Right there. Yeah, kind of like, It's a little tough on the top, though. See that? What the hell is that crap? Right. That's why you got to look at him. I'm not crazy, but and look at this, missing a peg. Come on, bro. Do you even Acoustasonic? Yeah, I've seen a lot there. I guess you could go Telly. I'm gonna guess. Yeah, that's not bad. A little streaky on the bridge. That's why you got to go through a bunch of stock. You got to find one with a bridge you like. Nice fretboard though. I'll say that it's a nice even fretboard. Yeah, well, you find one. Purple. You gonna go purple, bro? Again, it's kind of a streaky bridge. A little on the streaky side. I've seen them more even. It's just the luck of the draw. Well, that might work better with the darker. And this has the right knobs. That other one had metal knobs on it. Someone replaced them. All right, it's supposed to have the ebony knobs. Do, ebony knobs. Do. They wrote a song about it. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Anyway, I'd get one of those. I'd go through and I'd pick out one where I like the look of the bridge. It's got the ebony knobs. It's got everything in correct. And I can find it in the color I want. I'd just get that. Just me. Yeah, exactly. The guitar guy spilled his monster drink. That did look a bit. It looked a little sugary, didn't it? A little shiny, sugary there. Coffee with some sugar in it or something. Calvin said he had an old blue graphite Acoustasonic. It was nice. He sold it for $700 at Long and McQuaid. Yeah. You know, it's, yeah, Bob Welch. Ebony eyes. So in other weekly news, my buddy there, Mike Palmisano, creator of the Teleport. It's a looper pedal that can do 4 tracks and save them as waves. And I think it's, they don't destroy the waves, and you can share them with friends. Anyway, they sold out of these in the fall, and he's been waiting to get his next run. I think he just got his another run. So if you've been eyeing a Teleport, now might be the time to get one. It'll probably sell out. There was someone else. Was it? We can just check. Did Gibson come out with something? I'm trying to remember what I got for emails. What did you get for emails? Yeah, we gotta bring that back. Okay, here we go. We'll go to electric, new arrivals. Anything new? I could have sworn I got an email. But sometimes the email is not something new. It's like a dealer spotlight. Yeah, so the last time we were here, I think we were looking at these, right? With the double creams, and I think even these juniors, if I remember correctly. But since then, we've had some, maybe these, no, I remember the plain tops. This is I'm sure like a limited edition. That's sold out. But, yeah, plain tops. So these must be the new ones, these 3 here. New custom select. So what we got down there? Oh, like a antique cherry. What is it? Oh yeah, very 70s looking if you ask me. Everything in 70s was covered in wood. Wood, avocado, and orange. Oh yeah, there you go. See, we make guitars in the U.S. What are you talking about? There you go. It's only $9,000. That be cash or check. Oh, and it comes pre-cracked. Nice. There you go. Trying to think if anyone. Let me. Oh, you know, I might be able to do it right from here. I'm trying to think if I saw any emails. Who came out this week with something new? Somebody did. Oh, here we go. You know, oh yeah, Kramer. I thought so. Kramer, the Volante and the Volante quilt. Thought I saw something. Yeah. Kind of look like the old Charvels. Not gonna lie. Kind of reminds me of like a Model 1B. Right? The Model 1 was a single humbucker. Model 1A was 3 singles. The Model 1B was 2 humbuckers. And it had the red with the black pickguard, if I remember correctly, and the maple fretboard. Oh, sure. Can you click this and go to it? You can't. Shop now? Yeah, there you go. Volante. Whoa. I like the diamond inlays, right? It's kind of show mastery. The show master. I'm gonna master that show. What do we got? Yeah, here we go. Oh, sure. Kramer. Sure. A quilt maple veneer top. 3-piece thermally aged satin finish maple neck. With Kramer elliptical C profile. Yeah, looks nice. See if I can get these over at Zion's. I'll see if I can get one. So they're in stock. Add to cart. Well, see if I can get one here for Guitar of the Week, but it would be at least 6 weeks out at this point. Six weeks out. Intruder alert. Intruder the Buddha. Defender Red. Defender of the Red. I like the Floyd. Oh, sure. Kind of slabby. Kind of does remind me of those old Charvels, right? With the slab body. Oh, I'll bet. I'll bet. Nice neck heel, too. See that? Can we get a posterior approach? Oh, yeah. Suede. 3-piece maple neck. 5-bolt. You say, is a 5-bolt better than a 4-bolt? Well, it's one better now, isn't it? That's just math. All right. And it's in red and black. And what else do we have? I think we saw these. Those have been around for a few weeks. Yeah. And the smoked almond. Nice. I'm not going to lie. I do like a good smoked almond. Now, this has a Triton noiseless in the neck. That's interesting. Yeah, kind of like a bleep blorp. A little Geordie LaForge right there. Nice top, though. Looks good. Let's see. Like I said, I'll see if I can get one here. I'll check it out. I like the idea of a single coil there. I think maybe even more than the humbucker. Let me in the humbucker. Did they get into the? No. Series wired, neck pickup, parallel wired. Okay. Hum canceling. Pickups are hum canceling in opposite. So there's no. Right. It does the single coil mode and the. Okay, I see what they're doing here. They do a reverse wound split. And it's a 1000 series trim. It's not a special, which I appreciate. I like the 1000 way better than the special. That's just me. Yeah. Okay, and this is the same thing with the neck pickup and oh. Kramer, you going vintage on me, bro? Look at that. I mean, I guess. I mean, on a Kramer? It's got a bit of blasphemy there. Tri-burst. Now that, sure. And, of course, no Floyd Rose. Right, that's where the other one. Right, Floyd and a Floyd. No Floyd, no Floyd, no Floyd. Is that ever Floyd? Yeah. Oh, it's a no-brainer for me. Oh, please. I all day, I would go with this over that. Just because it's $50 more and you get a Floyd Rose 1000. You're not even in the same ballpark. I would take it. Now, I know some people don't like the Floyd Rose, but you're buying a Kramer. Yeah, I bought a Kramer and I made it a hardtail. Why? Why, God, why? That's a nice color, though, huh? That's real nice. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Anyway, those are the new Kramers. I knew I'd say, you know what, just to check, because it might be. I don't know this for sure, but I'm just going to look. No, that's the inspired by Gibson. I think we already looked at these. The new inspired by, yeah, I swear we looked at these like a week or two ago. Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was anything new by Epiphone while I'm on the site. Electric guitars. Yeah, they don't have just a. All right. Yeah, nothing. It's just inspired by. Okay. Yeah. The collections. All right. Just seeing if there's anything since the last time we looked, and I don't think so. They're not putting out a guitar every week. Just got back from dinner with the wife and kiddo. Did I miss anything? Oh, dude. I played this riff earlier. Unfortunately, there was a glitch. It's lost forever. But man, I played this riff. I think other people would agree. This is the greatest riff I ever played. Like literally. Should have been here. But then we realized that there was like a glitch in the matrix and the whole thing was just lost to history. Thanks, Steve, for the demo. Sure, yeah. Oh, you know what? Let me do a little PSA while I remember, because this has come up a lot. I would discourage you from posting links in any of the comments. I think after the whole, like, reach out to me, they would spoof the account, and they would say, hey, it's me, Steve, and you want a prize, right? Reach out to me on WhatsApp and all this stuff. They started to block anything that contained a link. Can't post links. So if you ever, even if it goes to YouTube, if you post any link in the comments, it'll never make it. It just won't. And I never go through and check it. Once in a while, I'll go in and I'll check and see like the comments that have been held. It's all comments with links. And that's about it. So I would just discourage that because YouTube, they block them. And I'm too lazy to go in and check them and go through them one by one. So I never even check that shit. So I'm just telling you, I know some people post a lot of links and they never make it. They just don't. I can understand why YouTube did it though. That whole scam thing was getting out of control. So you can post links, but they've got to be approved, I think, one by one. When they get held up, they go in comment purgatory. The whole comment gets stripped out. And YouTube is pretty clever. When they block a comment, they block it to the whole world except for the person who made it. Just so that person doesn't go, hey, where did my comment go? Why did you block my comment, right? Why is my comment blocked? They figured out, God, it was years ago, that when you block a person or you block a comment, no one sees the comment or the person except for that person. They see their own comment. As if it was never deleted. They're like, it's still there, but it's not. The rest of the world doesn't see it. That's pretty clever by YouTube. Brought tears everywhere. Exactly. Tears of joy. We can only speculate, but sure. You recorded the solo, but you can't post because of the link. Oh, damn you, YouTube. Oh. Oh, man. That's just how it goes. Damn YouTube. Oh, I have some exciting news. I hope you're ready for this. I flushed out my water heater this week, the hot water heater. Boom. Yeah, I noticed the water is not crystal clear if I fill up like a white basin. It looks pretty clear for a while, but once you start to really fill it, it takes on sort of a yellow tint, brown, yellow, like sediment, pissing me off. And someone recommended just getting a large clear container and putting it outside and flushing it out until the container runs clear, which I did, and that took about, and it wasn't completely clear, but exactly, hot water flush out, mic drop, thank you. So this guy gets it. You're really supposed to do a full drain and then turn the cold on a little bit to flush it out in there a little bit, right? And but I tell you, it has been a lot better. A lot better. Like, it definitely lightened up. It's not 100%, but I'll bet if I did it one more time, I could get it to, like, barely visible. I'm sure there's always going to be a little something in there, but it's better than where it was, and I suspect that the tank would last a little bit longer. The other thing is we don't have the hard water like people have with all the minerals in it. We're not on well water. We're on city, and they treat the water. They soften the water. They do all that. They filter out, sediment. And in fact, they did a huge project with all the water pipes in the town like 10, 15 years ago. I think it was more like 15 years ago, where they replaced all the linings. And they said this will cut way down on sediment, and it did. It really did. So, no, it's been good, but that freaking water heater is 4.5 years old, 5.5 years old. I got it December. Let's do some quick math. I got it December 14th, 13th or 14th, 2019. So December 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. Yeah, it's a 6-year warranty. So I have until I'm 5.5 years in, right? Because it would be December 2025. But they're not going to say that's normal wear and tear. They're not doing shit for me. Yeah, the anode. Well, they say to replace the anode, but that looks like trouble. I'd probably never get the thing to be friggin' watertight again. Yeah, pump a little CLR in there. You'll be fine. I have to look up the Sterling X40. I had already ordered this next round, but for the round after that, I might be able to do it. The AX40. Anyone ever paint a guitar? Got an 86 or 87 Deluxe that needs a paint job? I tell you, it's trickier than it seems. It really is, and you've got to do a lot of prep work, and you've got to have a really dry, you know, not too humid, or else that introduces more moisture into the spray. And then if you're going to do like a rattle can, there are ways to prep to make sure it's nice and smooth, and then there's a gloss coat you have to do, and that can be like, it's harder than you think, unless you do it all the time and you've got sort of a process down. I think it's trickier than it seems, painting a guitar. It really is, especially with all the contours. And it's very difficult, if not damn near impossible, to get the same shine you get like when you get a brand new guitar, just because they have the giant buffing wheels. There's only so much you can buff out with a hand buffer, you know. Yeah, they rust out the bottom pretty easy now, yeah. Just replaced the water heater. It was a 65. It looked like it was from the 80s. Yeah, that's a big unit. We had a 40, I think. We had, I think, a 30 when we moved in. I said, well, that, my dad was like, do not put another 30 in here. Put a 40 in minimum. We put the 40 in. That blew out. And then in fact, I had to put 2 in. Boy, it did not last long, that one. And then this last one I put in a 50. Yeah, exactly, does it, Doug. You kind of need a dust-free environment, something very clear. That's why it's so much better to... there's a reason why snowblowers don't have intake filters. There's no dust in the winter, right? Especially after a snowstorm. So there are situations where you can get it like really, really dust-free. But it's tricky. It's trickier than, like anything, it appears to be relatively easy until you actually go and try and do it. And then you're like, shit, this is not easy. This guitar is not coming out the way I had hoped it was going to come out. And now I'm chasing down rabbit holes because I didn't let one area dry enough, and apparently I'm getting a little bit of orange peel now, and so do I strip this whole thing? Am I going to try and work on this one section? What the hell, right? You're putting out fires nonstop with this stuff. It is, like anything, it's often underestimated. How hard can it be? Just painting a guitar. Trust me. It will be harder than you think. Very frustrating and annoying as shit. The only problem with nitrocellulose lacquer is that the availability, right? You have to make sure you can even get it. I'm sure you could if you online or whatever, but if you're going local, it could be a little tricky. They might have all kinds of paints, but they're usually enamels. Usually. Yeah, exactly. All the people on YouTube say it's easy, but then they're painting in a paint booth. Well, it looks like you might have a little experience with this. Yeah, exactly. And with the $700 gun, it really is like, in people like, well, why do you use a $700 gun? They're like, because it doesn't look good unless I use that gun. Because a really nice gun gives a nice even coat, and once you get right. So, it gets, it's one of those things that if you quote unquote try to do it right, you have to sink a lot of cash into the tools, into the the materials. Yeah, orange peel is an interesting look. Very interesting. Yeah, not the best weather this weekend in Massachusetts. I think it's going to be a little bit better tomorrow. Today, it looked like it was going to be okay, and then we had some rain blow through a couple of times. I was like, yikes. Like full on sunny and then full on rainy. Like twice. I was like, well, there goes. The rain's gone. Oh, no, wait, the rain is back again, despite the sun being out for an hour. So one of the things we found out this week is whatchamacallit there, THU, yeah, there we go. Here we go. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to switch this. Hold on. THU has a new doubler. It's a little crazy. Sounds decent, but here's the doubler on. Here's what I found out. Super Lead Plus. And then what is this? It's a rig. Here's what I found out about it, though, with the doubler. For the doubler, you need at least one stereo item or it won't work. Even if the item isn't on, it has to be in the chain. So I started by... that's what the guitar really sounds like. Listen to the tone. That's what your amp hears. That's directly in with absolutely nothing. So if we add, hold on, we just go to amps. What can I add here? Let me just look at some of these. We'll pick a good one here. Well, let me go with I go with a rig player. Yeah. And then they have built in if you notice, it's a PV6505. It's bright though, huh? Black Star, PV. So that is the, hold on. That is the complete rig. Let me just get rid of that. Can I show that? Yeah. Right, and you don't... The doubler is on. Nothing. Because it's mono. Because this is mono. You dig what I'm saying? So if we go here and we add a reverb, even this digital reverb, I don't even have to turn, I'm going to turn it off. I get the doubler because the reverb is stereo, and it's converted the whole circuit to stereo, right? But I think if I remove it, we lose our stereo, right? Because it has to be at least one. All right, hold on. So there it is with the doubler off. And there it is with it on. But this won't work unless I have at least one stereo. Again, doesn't even have to be on. Doesn't even have to be on. It just has to be in that chain. Or you don't get a doubler. It would sound like that. Right? You hear it almost go center a little bit. Pretty dry, but anyway, you get the idea. So, doubler. This one's in doubly. All the Randy stuff, you know. I mean, not bad. That's the doubler with the. Someone was asking why don't I use the rig when I was doing the demo? Because there's only a handful of rigs that are free that come with it. It's really only those that was it the Black Cat and the Bad Cat, Black Cat, Black Star. That and the PV6505 Plus. Everything else you got to buy. So I could just hear people going like, why do you use things that require extra money? Why don't you just use it with the stock amps? So that's why I use the stock amps to answer. Why don't you use the rigs? Because the stock amps are stock and people can recreate the exact same sound without having to spend any extra cash. That's why. Well, it'll certainly be more in your face. Like that. And if you're listening through a TV, it might hear that doubler and interpret that as the rear speakers. If you have a sort of like an AC3, right, or a 5.1 system going, it might go, oh, right, this isn't the center channel, which they give priority to. I will hear that on live sporting events sometimes. Have you ever watched the live sporting event and you're like, for Christ's sakes, the goddamn crowd is louder than the play-by-play. The crowd is so much friggin' louder because when they got the signal, my system interpreted it to be like the center channel and their voice to be the rear channel. They got the channels screwed up because I think it's it literally might be like by phase position because, you know, I don't know if there's a lot of data. This is all analog, right? AC3 is based on positioning, I think. Voice sounds good, but the guitar, oh, it might be a little low. It also depends on the model. Some models are louder. All right, hold on. Let's go back. That's when I had made... That was definitely louder. Again with the doubler. Again with the doubler. Seems a little too loud. Better. That's the Mr. Scary. Plexi? No, what is that? Tread plate. The clean. Well, it is what it says it is. It's somewhere around there. Needs a Floyd. You know, I agree with you. With this guitar would be amazing with a Floyd. Output's back to normal. I think it depends on the model. Like this is a much more mid-pushed. I think that sounds great with the doubler. Again, not that that sounds bad. Versus right? I mean, that can work, right? Where am I? Sure. Something like that. That's the clean. What's before this? Blackface? Oh man. Is that gonna match? It does. It's got a master. That gain is up way too high. Bring that level up. Got a master. That gain up just a hair. It's nice because, you know, without the doubler, not that that's bad, but it's just different. Actually, probably bring that gain up. Is that bright switch on or off? Off. Much better. Oh, sure. Then we. So the clean, so blackface is brighter. Clean is just not as bright. What about? It's called a Grail. I think I'm blowing out. A little mushy, kind of woolly. Mr. Scary. A little better. Let's try it with the doubler. Oh, it feels like a little bit too sizzly on on the high end. Is that because my master is pushing? Oh, I gotta bring that master up and the output down. That made it worse. Bring that up, bring the master down. That's a little better. That's better. So that's the Lynch box head with "Duh, Mr. Scary." And we got a Zumba, Zumba, Zoom. Am I hitting these right? What else is up? What do we got? Much better with the bright on, huh? That's pretty good, right? Maybe a little bit higher. There it is. Well, not bad. The Super V. Yeah, we're checking out the doubler. Certainly brighter and more twangy. What if we turn the bright switch off? I think I like this a little better with the bright switch off. Yeah, not bad. That's the tread plate. So much more bass, huh? And clean it up with the bright switch. A little woolly on top. Yeah, it's a little woolly. You know, I like it. That's nice. I like it a little like this. It's a little tighter, you know. And again, we don't have any effects in the front of this. We could always stick a pedal in front of it to shape the tone. I mean, God, they've been doing that friggin' forever. But, yeah. Versus the doubler. Doubler on. Not bad. It's a little twangy. Let me bring that gain down. Bring that level down too. Again, a little not bad. A little dark though. Oh. And the bright switch. The bright switch, it does nothing. Ultra. Meh. Better. Turn that bright switch off. That's not bad. What do we got left here? Anything? XDC. I'm trying to remember. Nice. All right. Anyway, we're getting caught. We're going down a road. That's the doubler. All right, let me get back to my. Where's my standard patch? Now it's going to sound scooped. Sorry. Sounds a little dark now. It's funny how it's all relative. That's my normal patch. That's how we started this night out. Let me turn the doubler off. There it is. That's why it sounded a little darker, because the doubler was on, and it probably hurts a little bit of the high end as a part of the doubling process. It's funny how that works. You're like, oh, no, it sounds awesome. And then you start to go through other patches. it's better when it's on without the doubler. Oh, see, that's why it's a little hit or miss. You gotta pick amps that I think work better with the doubler, or they don't quite work with the doubler. And you need at least one stereo component. And here's the thing, I believe almost all the cabs are stereo. So a lot of amps, just by adding the matching cab, especially if it's a fluid IR cab, they're all stereo. So you should be able to, just by inserting that cab, it'll be stereo and you'll get the doubler. It's because I use the rig, and the rig is mono, that it wasn't working. I was like, why does it work with rigs? And I said, oh, it must not work with rigs. And I said, but it's working with this rig. Why? Because I had a stereo component in there. Then I started to figure out it needs one stereo component or it won't work. God damn, that is good. This is no, this is my normal one. This is the DOD YJM, which I found out after doing some sleuthing, because I copied this patch from somewhere else. I forgot where it came from, and I went on the hunt the other day to say, like, where the hell did I get this rig from? It's a Chop Tones rig. Chop Tones. I have a Chop Tones set. I have the Brit 87. And it's part of the Brit 87. But of course, it's got a whole bunch of crap on it that the original patch didn't have. Like, all that crap. Which is, this is on, but everything else, and these are on, but the wire is off. That's off. This, usually off. You run it on occasion. Same with the flange. Fun with. Did we get a cat in here? It is a slim neck. In fact, it's literally listed as a thin U. Thin U. And I can confirm. 'Tis thin. Again, then you kind of get used to this one and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. A-do-do-do. So yeah. Just the normal noises in here. Got a great guitar coming out on Monday. It's right in the wheelhouse. And I shot the video today and had a lot of fun shooting the video, so I'm looking forward to it. Am I around this week? I sure am. Tomorrow, not really. Tomorrow's kind of out, actually. But any day after that, I'm around. Absolutely. You got to pick up your new, got to get your new handheld. Ready to go. Seriously thinking about getting it. I've been wanting Firebird for a long time. Well, the Phoenix is a type of Firebird, right? Doesn't the Phoenix burst into flames? only to rise from the ashes. Oop, wrong one, right there. It's not a Firebird, it's a Flamebird. Come on. Two very different guitars. Yeah, it sounds good. Like I said, the only day that's not good is tomorrow, Sunday. Other than Sunday, though, I'm good. Here's the thing, though. Monday, this town has a parade. So if you're going to come on Monday, I don't think you should come until like after, I want to say, I think the parade starts at 10 or 10:30 and goes through about like 11:30 or noon. And then they're going to block off a whole bunch of streets, and it's going to be traffic pandemonium around here as the parade marches through the town. So you might, if it's Monday, want to go like after like 1 p.m., you know, or even 2 p.m. Because you might have a little tricky time, I swear to God, even getting to my house, because the parade doesn't go down my street, but goes down a street near me, and they're going to have that all those major streets are going to be blocked off. And, it's going to be a shit show, as it is as it is every year on parade day. Exactly, not to be confused with a reverse Phoenix. I mean, that's just... I just heard the sump pump go again. Just heard it rum. We're having a parade. Love Mondays now. Yeah, no, it's been good. I thought about taking a little break over the summer, but I think I've decided against it because why? I can just keep going. No reason to miss it. In the winter, I will take a break between around Christmas. Usually the season ends at like the middle of December and starts up in the middle of January. So I thought maybe this year I would take like 2 weeks off, or even like a month off, and and then come back. But then I'm like, why? I can just keep going. Right? It doesn't take that much time. It's like two hours roughly to shoot the video, and another hour to 2 hours to edit it. It's really not a ton of work on an hourly basis. I can probably keep it going. Yeah. No, be careful, speaker. You're going to get up here and you're going to be like, oh my God. And then you're going to finally get to my house. You're going to be like, there was a parade. And I'm like, no, I know. Oh, no. Oh, we know about the parade. Oh, no. It acts like a shield. Shields like other people from being able to get to us. But I'm pretty sure the parade starts around 10 or 10:30 and goes, I think everything's over by noon. But then there's up at the cemetery, there's like a big thing. And then people start dispersing. And I think they keep the roads closed, and I think a lot of that time. And I would guess it's going to be at least until 1 p.m. And you're going to be like, or you're going to be bummed. You're going to be like, what did he keep due to the R so it's running smooth? Well, you do regular updates with ArcOS. If you have an R36S, you could put now, there's a Rocknix version out there, but you need the right DTB file for your panel. I think there's a couple of online things where you could put you can send your like Linux DTB up, and it will read it and tell you what panel you have. Most people have either panel 1 or panel 4. Those seem to be the two most popular panels. My old one from 2023 is panel 1. And this latest one I got is panel 4. And so you, with the R36S, if you do a custom firmware now, you have to know what panel you have in it, and you have to put the right DTB file on it, or else you're going to boot to a friggin' black screen. It's not going to work. Have a good one, James. Yeah, it can get a little tricky. With Rocknicks, there's usually a device tree folder, and in the device tree folder will be just a big list of DTB files. One of them will be, right, for the 3326. One of them will be an R36S, and then another one will be like R36 panel 4. There might be some in between, like the Aeolix, but for the most part, it's going to be panel 1 or panel 4, and you have to copy that DTB to the root, and then you have to change it to dtb.img, and then boot. What's an R36S? It's a little handheld, like one of these little handheld gaming things. This is a flip top. This is a RX34XXSP. That's running an all-winner H700, which is a much more powerful chip than that one in the R36S. You know, what I'm waiting to see is someone come out with something new. I feel like they all want to go to Qualcomm. They all want to go to Snapdragon, but we'll see what happens. We've been on the 3326 and the 3566 for like 3 years, 5 years. Right? The 3326 came out in 2020, and the other one came out in 2022 or late 2021. So they're kind of getting old. That's why, here's the thing. They all want to use the same chips because it's easier. Right? It's a known quantity, and we know it's going to work. So they just build the same unit around the same chip over and over and over again with slightly different specs or a slightly different form factor. Well, we'll see. Have a good one, speaker. Yeah, everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend if you're in the States. Throw another steak on the barbecue, right? It's pretty much what you do this weekend, right? So it's a lot of like say hello to summertime, and there's a lot of sort of like grilling and outdoor backyard stuff, and it tends to be sort of like the kickoff of the summer season in the States. So we're going to be a little cool. I think we're finally warming up this week. Be good to see. I think ARM is going to take over at some point. Well, that's what a lot of these are. They're all ARM-based. All right, that's an all-winner H700. But they already have, like, I want to say the H735, which is a lot stronger. I can tell you this. I have a couple of trim UIs that use the all-winner. I think it's the A133. Kind of sluggish. I mean, it's fine when you're running a game, but as you move around the interface, it's a little slow compared to the 3566, and certainly much slower compared to any of the Snapdragon stuff. So, you know, be nice to see some stronger chips out there. All right, dudes, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and a happy early birthday to Deanna. And there you go. No, you rock. Thanks everybody for hanging out this week. Brofist, my mod squad. I don't think I saw. God, my name is Terry. But we'll do it all again in a week. I'll see y'all next week. We'll do it again. Check out Monday's video. I really like this guitar. It's my style of guitar. And there you go. I was enjoying playing it today. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend, holiday weekend in the States. And I'll see you in a week. And there you go. No, you rock. All right. Later.